Hey guys, Joe here with another RentKit video tutorial. Today, I actually wanted to do a remake of an earlier video because we've made some adjustments and feature enhancements to our check availability tab. So we're going to be doing another overview of check availability. What that is it's just the area of our application where you can view the inventory availability of all of your different inventory. These inventory numbers are based off of currently booked invoices within your RentKit account. So when you create an invoice, you have a start and end date for that invoice, and those start and end dates control what is available, or control the inventory availability of the products that show up on that invoice during that time frame. And so before you even book an invoice, especially if you're an event rental company, you need to be able to make projections on what's available, not only now, like what's in the warehouse now, but what is going to be available 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, even longer than that. Some people book weddings a year in advance, 2 years in advance. So how do you know what's going to be available on any given day or date range? That's what this feature is for. And it allows you to check availability on the fly while you're on the phone with the customer. If they've sent you an email request, you can do it right in here, check the availability, and then even add products to a rental estimate as you're going. So you can see that little cart feature down here. A lot of you know what that is, but basically you're browsing products, you're checking availability, you're adding quantities to your cart, right? And as you add everything in, once it's in there, then you can go directly to the create invoice phase, which drops you down into make the sale and creates a new order. So I'm going to go over this in a little bit of detail. I'm not going to take too long because most of you already kind of know what this feature does, but there's some new enhancements that we've applied here that we can look at, and I wanted to highlight some of those today. So let's dive right into it. So the first thing that you're going to do when you're in here, obviously you want to select a date range, right? So let's imagine, for example, that I wanted to check availability for this weekend. Right now it's the 10th. And I want to check for Friday to Monday. Typically in an event rental company like mine, I know we would rent from Friday to Monday. Even if the event was on Saturday or Sunday, we would always want to try and do it the day before and then pick up the following Monday. I didn't like to do pickups on Sundays. We were always closed Sundays. So that just kind of gave us a buffer day to just to get our bearings straight after the long weekend and then do all the pickups on Monday. We weren't so stressed about it as well if we're trying to like make time ranges and things like that. And if their event was on a Sunday, even better, we can deliver it either Saturday or Friday. And that way they're not stressed, we're not stressed for time, get those items to the locations in time, and they're good to go. Obviously this does work just as well with equipment rentals. I can highlight that in a different video. We have tons of equipment rental companies, heavy equipment companies that use our software as well. And the inventory is slightly different, and the billing and invoicing is slightly different. And we have changes to the software that kind of accommodate those things. But the inventory availability works pretty much exactly the same. Okay. All right, so we're going to check availability from the 13th through the 16th. Now that's going to go through our list of invoices, and it's going to populate availability for all of our products. And then what you can do is you can filter by your different categories that you have. You would have set these categories up and assigned inventory to categories. And let's just say, for example, I wanted to look at all of my chairs. Here's my chairs and seating category. So this is going to give me a list of all of my chairs, and I can see all in one spot all of the chairs that I have, what's available, what's out, what's coming back, when it's leaving. And you can see I have my black metal folding chair, 50 of those assigned out of the 297 that I own, which means I do have 247 left. Okay. If I go to the next page, I can even see more chairs. Oh, and look, my resin chairs are overbooked. So I'm actually negative 19 on resin chairs. And this UI right here is fairly new. So we added this to kind of clearly highlight that you do have overbooked items. It now shows up in this little red pill and with a negative number. And then what's out is in purple here, and your total that you own is right here in gray. Okay. Below these numbers, and then we also have the progress bar or like the status bar. So obviously green would mean you're good, gray means you're totally out, and then the red indicates that you're overbooked. And then you can also see if there was pending orders, those would show up in yellow as well. I'll do another example of that in just a little bit. But any orders that have been assigned or that have been booked that have this product on it would show up below the product name and description and the image here. So you have 25 that are assigned to Jennifer and 30 that are assigned to Alexander. Now, why would I do this? I want to highlight an important aspect of this particular view that is super helpful when you're making planning projections on inventory. Below the actual numbers and the orders that are assigned, you have what is a timeline. It's kind of it's what we call like a Gantt chart. So it's a timeline that shows each order that has this item on it, when it starts and when it ends. So you can see here, this is number 55, which corresponds to Jennifer Chen. Her order for these chairs starts on the 12th and ends on the 16th. And then number 56, this is Alexander Kim. She starts on the 15th and ends on the 16th, and she has 30. Okay, I only own 36 of these. So I can technically do each of these orders individually, but I can't do them at the same time. And so while it looks like I'm overbooked, okay, now we have to dive into the details and say, okay, well, this order is supposed to be delivered on the 12th and picked up on the 16th. Well, when's her event date? We show that here, right? So these 25, their event date's on the 14th. So they're technically getting them 2 days before and then keeping them for 2 days after. Okay, so I can look at this and say, well, you know, Jennifer, we were going to let you keep these for an extra 2 days, but since we now have this order that's booked for the 15th to the 16th, and their event is on the 15th, I could technically still deliver this on the 12th and then pick it up after her event on the 14th or early morning on the 15th and get it to Alexander in time. So that's why this is now, this is okay. We've overbooked this and it says we're overbooked, but I'm okay with it because I know I have this availability to turn these items around. I wouldn't know that off the top of my head by just looking at these two orders. I'd have to go dive into the details and figure that out. I have to look at the invoice, look at the times, look at the dates, look at the event dates. But what's nice about this view is I can now see it all in one spot. And I can do this for any item across the board on any date. And so that's what's really cool about how we've laid this out. And I wanted to highlight that aspect so that you can see how you can better utilize this check availability to make your life easier and to be more productive and get more out of your inventory items themselves. Okay. Another feature that we've added, so you can actually toggle this timeline on and off. If you don't, if you're not super concerned about it, or if you don't have a problem item anywhere, just turn it off so that it doesn't like get in your way. And now you've got your classic view with just the numbers and the invoice numbers and the dates and stuff. So that is toggleable. You can turn that on and off right here. Okay, now let's look at these two things as well. So we've added two different tabs here. So if I just wanted to see anything that is booked for a specific day or date range, I can go here and it's still filtering based off of the seating. If I unfilter it, now I can see everything that's booked for that day and I can see everything that's overbooked. So immediately I can identify problem inventory items in my date range here. So that makes it really nice and easy. So you can quickly, if you're worried about a week, let's say it's a Monday and I'm trying to plan out my week. I want to know if anything is overbooked, if I need to subrent anything, or if I need to purchase anything last minute. I just run the date range, click on overbooked, and now I see anything that's overbooked. If I want to see what's booked and see what I need to kind of prep or plan for, I can do this, and I can see a clear list of anything that's booked and see exactly what's going on with everything. Obviously, we do have the search feature still. So if I'm in all, I don't have anything selected, and I just wanted to find my resin shares, I can just type in resin. Okay, here's all my resin shares, right? Or when it's really useful is when it comes to things like linens. So if I wanted to see like, hey, a customer wants a 108, I type in 108, there's on my 108 inch linens. And if I'm overbooked on one of those, I can try and sell them on a color that I do have as opposed to what I don't have. Or let's say they want a white linen, right? And I type in white, and then now I've got my whites here. And then I can see, okay, well, maybe I don't have the 120s, but I do have 108s, right? Or vice versa, or 90 inch, right? So it just makes it, and I can even filter by linens. Let's see. Linen tablecloth. There we go. White linen tablecloths. Boom. There's all my white linen tablecloths. So then I can clearly see which ones I could rent. If they wanted 108s and I don't have them, let's see if we can offer them 120s at the same price, right? Just to capitalize on it and make more money so we don't have to subrent or purchase more. I think that's about it. I just wanted to go over that briefly and dive into a little bit more detail for you guys so that you can better utilize this feature, and hopefully it makes life easier for your day-to-day, but also just maximizes your potential on renting out what you have versus what you don't have. The whole idea is to make as much profit as possible, but also to offer your customers the best service as possible, and this hopefully helps you do that. We'll see you guys in the next video.